Well, hey there, Unboxers, and welcome to week 5. I pray that your groups are going well. If you're like us, this week your mind has started to turn toward the Christmas season. Maybe you went and bought a tree, or you started shopping for presents, or you're trying to figure out how to celebrate Christmas in this weird upside down year. But one thing is still the same this year. The great and wonderful reason why we celebrate Christmas is still the same. It's wonderful news that comes at Christmas time that's so worth celebrating, but it starts with kind of a hard truth. And the hard truth is this, that before Jesus, we lived in a world that was in great darkness. And even today, people continue to live in darkness when they're without God. Here's how it says it in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 19. It tells us that the way of the wicked is like darkness. They do not know over what they stumble. I'm sure everyone watching today has had that experience of trying to walk through a dark room and maybe turning your ankle or smashing your toe on the side of the bed or a chair. And Proverbs tells us that that's what life is like for people who are without God. But instead of chairs they're fumbling over, it's relationships that are broken, it's foolish choices, it's selfish and destructive living. Before I knew Jesus, that was my life. Now, I could tell you, I was doing pretty good, but that was only when I compared myself to other people. The truth was, I was living in darkness, making tons of terrible choices and hurting myself and other people. But when Jesus comes, the birth of Jesus, what we celebrate at Christmas, all that changes because Jesus is the light of the world. Here's what Jesus says about himself in John chapter 8. It says, when Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Jesus is the light. He doesn't give us the light. He doesn't say, hey, go walk your path and I'll shine it wherever you go and I'll open all your doors and make sure you don't ever stumble on anything. He says, I am the light. And there's a huge difference there. Our eyes are to be fixed on Jesus. He's the light that shows the way. We follow in his steps. He doesn't follow in ours. And so his invitation to come out of darkness is to look at him who is the light and to follow in his way. And here's the thing. When we follow after Jesus, he takes us places better than we could imagine. It's the best life we could imagine. Sometimes we think, I want my way. But Jesus' way for us is so much better than the way that we have for ourselves. You know, the light of Jesus, when we follow it, it creates this wonderful, fantastic, adventure-filled life. But it also does some hard stuff too. Jesus works on us when we follow after the light. Maybe you've had this experience. Just a couple weeks ago, we decided to get some new lighting for our living room. It just has no overhead light. It's actually the room I'm sitting in right now. It has no overhead light. And so we got some big lights to go in the corners. And it was amazing when you turn the lights on, the room transformed from one that's usually in darkness, and all of a sudden it was really well lit. And then we looked around that room and we were like, that corner where we keep the games is a mess. Man, this couch is really stained. We should get a new couch, right? We're like, this carpet isn't so great. I think getting those 2 lights is going to cost me like $2,000 in the end, right? Well, when we come to light of Jesus, the same thing can happen in our lives. Not because Jesus is a harsh taskmaster who wants us to be perfect, but because the broken things in our life, the sinful and destructive things in our life, they hurt us and they hurt other people. So Jesus shines his light and he shows us those dark corners, those injured places, and he wants to bring healing and he wants to bring freedom. And he does. Now, I'll tell you, when I first came to Christ, he showed me some big, obvious things that needed to change. But it's not like I got fixed then and now I'm perfect. The truth is, as I continue to walk with Jesus, he continues to show me those things in my life, bring things to light that need to change or get healed. I think sometimes he parcels it out in small packages because that's all that we can handle. But that process of being made more like Jesus that we call sanctification, that starts with him shining light on us, while it's hard, is incredibly beautiful. And so as we celebrate Christmas this year, we don't just celebrate that we get presents and we get great music and it's a good relief from this weird year. Let's celebrate the coming of Christ, that he who is our light and whose light shines on our lives to free us from brokenness and to transform us into who we were designed to be in the beginning. May God bless you this year and bless your group today. Merry Christmas.